This is the AM News on the AM show. Let's get into the details. Starting with President Akufo-Addo has charged Ghanaians to preserve the hard-fought 31 years of stable democracy, though not perfect. He's highlighted the consistent improvement seen in each election during the Fourth Republic. Now, the president emphasized the need for continuous learning and increased tolerance for differing opinions, cautioning against any regression. He's been speaking at the 67th Independence Day celebration held in the Eastern region.
My dear compatriots, fellow Ghanaians, the theme chosen for this year's Independence Day celebrations is our democracy, our pride. And I welcome all of you to Akufo-Addo, the capital of the Eastern region, which is hosting the celebrations this year. The decision to rotate the scene of the national celebrations around the country, instead of staging them only in Accra, the nation's capital, has certainly turned out to be a welcome nation-building exercise that helps us to focus attention on a different region every year and at the same time rallies the nation together in that region. Our host this year, the Eastern region, was very much at the center of the independence struggle of our country. It is home to 3 members of the Big Six of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC of blessed memory. I've mentioned specific groups that make up the Eastern region, but as I stated earlier, it is a region where the whole of Ghana merges into a melting pot and lives in harmony, and different groups feed on the strength of each other for the good of the whole. This is the same scenario that is played on the national scene, where different people have come together to form the Ghanaian nation and a national identity for the past 67 years. Fellow Ghanaians, we have good reason to choose as our theme and to celebrate our democracy, our pride, at this 67th anniversary of our independence. We are a democratic nation, and not every country can make such a claim. It is important to note that the democratic system of government we have today was not given to us at independence. More than 100 years of British rule have not prepared us in any way for democracy. There is nothing democratic about colonial rule. And whatever we have today, we have worked out for ourselves. All the defining elements of a democracy that are part of our governance architecture today, we have had to fabricate ourselves. Everything we know about elections today, and we know quite a bit, we have learned through hard practice, and in the past 31 years, we have been stable. We've not got a perfect system, but every time we've had elections during this Fourth Republic, it has been an improvement on the previous occasion. We have still a lot more to learn, especially when it comes to the tolerance of opposing views.
On the economy, President Akufo-Addo is optimistic Ghana is on the brink of a breakthrough as the worst challenges are now in the past.
Fellow Ghanaians, I know that we have gone through difficult economic circumstances, but it is clear that we have overcome the worst and we are looking forward to better times. I wish to make reference in particular to 2 projects coming on stream that should make a great difference to the economic fortunes of our country. I refer to the successful selection of strategic partners that will work with the Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation, GADEC, to build a new alumina refinery and develop mines at Nyinahini in Pasaso, as 3 or 4 projects being executed under the Integrated Aluminum Industry IAI projects. I witnessed the signing of two agreements in Accra recently. Firstly, between GIADEC, a wholly owned public entity, and Rockshore International, a wholly owned Ghanaian private company, selected after a rigorous process as a strategic partner to develop a mine at Nyinahini in Pasaso. The other major project that is coming on stream, which is bound to make a dramatic change to the economy, is the Adar Songor Salt Project, being spearheaded by Electrochem Salt Mine Limited, led by the dynamic Ghanaian entrepreneur, Mr. Dan McCaughey, aka McDan. After many years of disputes, which prevented the exploitation of salt at the site, work has finally started, and salt will be mined on a large commercial scale. The Electrochem salt mine will be the biggest salt-producing facility in the whole of Africa. These are figures that should spell a significant change in the economy and cheer us up. I am optimistic that together with other initiatives of this government, we are on the verge of a breakthrough in our economic fortune.
Now, Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold-Hassan is asking Ghanaians to use the independence celebration to protect the peace of the country. According to her, that's the only way the country can achieve its development targets. She was addressing the 6th March parade in Cape Coast. There's more in this report.
The Regional Minister, Justina Marigold-Hassan, emphasized the need for the public to uphold peace, especially when the general elections are just around the corner.
We all know that this is an election year, and very soon political parties and interest groups will have various political platforms across the length and breadth of the country with different messages. Let us take cues from what happened from years back in countries like Sierra Leone, Sudan, Congo, Somalia, Colombia, Liberia, La Côte d'Ivoire, just to mention a few. There is no need to belabor the boils of war and the reign of humanity in these countries. I wish to use this occasion to urge all of us to guard against all tendencies that can destroy our peace and democracy.
Justina Marigold-Hassan called for a rededication to Ghana's development.
Significantly, investment has been made in areas of roads, infrastructure, education, health facilities, tourist sites, agriculture, and sport, among others. Our fisherfolk, traders, farmers, youth, and women groups have all benefited from national policies and programs. Truly, we have much to be grateful for. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, those of us in the Central Region have also contributed immensely to Ghana's proud democracy of having conducted ourselves peacefully in this dispensation. As we mark 67 years of nationhood, I urge all stakeholders from the public and private sectors, civil society organizations, and indeed all Ghanaians to rededicate ourselves to the cause of Ghana's development. We must work even harder to reduce corruption and poverty, build more infrastructure, create jobs for the youth, empower women, and sustain our development.
The students, as well as the security agencies, took part in the parade in the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast.
High School.
Now, for the 4th time in 5 years, the Independence Parade for the Upper West region was held outside the regional capital. The event, which took place at Laura, had 8 contingents of security personnel, 35 basic second cycle and tertiary institutions and voluntary organizations taking part in the parade. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali said, though the Electoral Commission has lots of responsibility to ensure credible election, much also depends on political parties to demonstrate elections are not a do-or-die affair. Rafiq Salam reports from Laura.
A contingent of security personnel drawn from the Ghana Armed Forces 10 Mechanized Battalion, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Prison Service, Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Immigration Service, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority took part in the 67th Upper West Regional Parade held at Laura. They were joined in the 2-hour march past by 14 primary, 17 junior high, and 3 senior high schools. Also included on the list were 1 tertiary institution and some voluntary organizations under the instruction of Parade Commanding Officer Susi Akaban.
The parade QIC will be handing over the parade shortly. The parade
The number of participating schools and time for the event was reduced following reports of suspected cases of cerebrospinal meningitis (CSM) in the region. The region, in the past couple of months, had recorded 81 suspected cases of the disease and claimed 4 lives. The 35 basic, senior high schools and tertiary institutions and the voluntary organization kick-started a march past, starting with the primary schools. The 10 Mechanized Battalion led the way when it came to the 10 of the security contingents, starting with slow marching and followed by the other sister security services. They then moved into a high gear, quickening the pace of their movement and into quick march.
And lastly, is the number 8 contingent.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, in his address, paid glowing tribute to the founding fathers of the country and those who were involved in the country's fight for independence. Dr. bin Sali noted that in recent past, the West African sub-region has been under the threat of terrorism and violent extremism and tied it with the numerous chieftaincy and land disputes around the country.
West Africa has been under the threat of terrorism and violent extremism, rapidly spreading from the Sahel towards the borders. Many of our neighbors, notably Burkina Faso, have already fallen victim to attacks by these extremist groups. Internally, we have so many chieftaincy and land disputes around the country, serving as potential breeding grounds for internal tension and destabilization. We have had our share of political instability and experimentation about how we should govern ourselves. In the end, we opted for multi-party democracy under the 1992 Constitution. Even though it is not a perfect document, it has, this far, served us well, and we have witnessed the most sustained period of stability and economic growth in our country's history.
Turning to the 2024 general election, he noted that democracies are founded on credible elections, hence a huge responsibility lies on the Electoral Commission, government, and the political parties to ensure that the country has credible elections.
The government is doing its part to make the work of the Electoral Commission go smoothly. Meanwhile, a lot of responsibilities lie on the political parties to demonstrate that elections are not a do-or-die affair. Seeing the vigorous media and civil society organizations constantly scrutinize public discourse equally gives me pleasure.
And students of the St. Paul Lutheran School are hopeful the safety and peace being enjoyed in the country would be maintained. Speaking on the sidelines of a military drill organized by the school and security agencies to commemorate the country's 67th Independence Day, the students who dressed to represent the various security agencies also shared their pride in representing the officers. There's more in the following report.
Students of the St. Paul's Lutheran School have the view that the country has made great strides 67 years after gaining independence. Speaking on the sidelines of a military drill organized by the school and security agencies, they indicated that the development of the country hinges on security. Adding that the country has made great progress in health development since Ghana gained independence.
I believe Ghana has done well because over the past few years, there haven't been any form of conflict or external aggression with the country. And yes, by the help of the army, we are maintaining peace across the borders of the country of Ghana.
Sudan was a country because when Kwame Nkrumah gained independence for us, he saved us from slavery and many other things. He built a lot of buildings for us.
Representing Ghana Army today is a privilege because they have been really helpful throughout the years of Ghana's independence. Yes, and they have really kept the country in shape for us.
We have to fight for nature and protect our city from enemies. And also, we have to protect ourselves from dangerous people who like to harm us.
Akufo-Addo, the executive director of the St. Paul's Lutheran School, the move is expedient in educating the younger generation and ensuring a better Ghana.
First for this drill is to inculcate in the children or to revive the spirit of patriotism among our children, so that when they grow up, they know that they have a nation, Ghana, that they have to die for, protect it, make it successful. We also want them to know that be aware about all the secret services in Ghana and their contribution towards the development of our nation, Ghana.
That will be all for the AM News on the AM Show. It's time now for the conversations and engagement. Up next is the news review. Please stay with us till 10 a.m.